I'm Matt Stone. Miele steam ovens have really changed the way I cook, and I'm going to show you how. Today I'm going to prepare a few simple, healthy dishes. A really lovely salad of fermented rice, cherry tomatoes, fennel and saltbush. I'm going to do some steamed ocean trout with quinoa and kimchi. And I'm also going to make a lovely little steamed pudding with lemon wattle seed and set it with some sour cream. The first thing we're going to steam today is some quinoa. Doing it in the steam oven is a really foolproof way to make sure it doesn't overcook. Simply take 1 cup of quinoa, equal amount of water. Make sure you mix it all together so the quinoa doesn't stick together, it's kind of dry, it's all wet, which is sort of the cooking medium. In the steam oven, 30 minutes at 100. The oven is also a fantastic way to steam rice, again, foolproof. The reason I use brown rice is the rice grains have the whole husk on them, so they're full of fibre. I've fermented this in whey for 2 days. You could do it in water for a vegan option, or if you don't have the time or you've forgotten, you could just simply throw it in the steam oven for 1 hour at 100 degrees. Voila. So moving on to dessert. We're doing a lemon and wattle seed pudding. I'm going to steam these lemons whole for 2 hours at 100 degrees. By using the whole fruit, we're getting maximum vitamins and nutrients from it, and we're not wasting anything. So straight in the oven for 2 hours. So I've got the oven loaded up. 2 savoury dishes and a dessert happening all at the same time. No transfer of flavours between the layers. It's absolutely amazing. So once they're ready, I'm going to take them out, chill them down, drop the temperature of the oven to 60 degrees, ready for my trout. So I'm just going to line the tray with some baking paper. It's always nice to keep it nice and square. And I've got this beautiful ocean trout that we've just very lightly cured with a little bit of salt and sugar. By curing it, it just sort of takes a little bit of the impurities out, sets the fish a little bit, and then we can just steam it really gently to get a lovely succulent result. Fish we're all very privileged to still be eating. I don't think we should consume as much as we have because we've done a lot of damage to the oceans, but there's some people ethically producing some really beautiful stuff. So we're just going to go in the oven, 60 degrees for 20 minutes. Using a Miele steam oven is such an efficient way to cook, and it's clean, it's convenient, and it really lets the good produce shine. So a few little simple sort of aromats that we're going to throw in there. So we've got the green onions, we're just going to peel back. I'm going to use the whole spring onion, so the green at the top, the white at the bottom. It's all sort of different flavours and different textures, and we're not being wasteful. Take a little bit of green chilli, a little bit of kick. So a nice angle slice, as fine as possible. A little bit of ginger, just to give that a real sort of fiery kick. Lay them back down this way and straight through. 1 shallot. Could use some fried shallots, would be nice, add a little bit of a crunch. So I've got some fresh herbs that we've picked from the garden this morning. It's really nice just to give them a bit of a tear up, get all those flavours happening, really make it come to life. Take this quinoa, straight in, and the kimchi. So I've fallen in love with this stuff. I can't stop making it, eating it, just researching other varieties, other techniques. It's just cabbage, carrots, spring onions, some chilli, sugar, very small amount of sugar, and some salt. So we'll take some of this juice as well. That's sort of going to become the dressing for the salad. So we're just going to sort of bring this together, get all these flavours happening. You know what? I'm just going to use my hands. It's much easier to get in there and massage all these things together. So we'll just have a little taste to see where we're at with flavour here. It's really important to just constantly taste, 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 and you can sort of understand the development of a dish as well. Yum, it's really crunchy and crispy and punches of different flavour, freshness from the mint, this sort of subtle chilliness from the kimchi. So that salad's ready to go. We're just going to get the fish. This fish is looking awesome. So it's set nicely. It's still slightly pink in the middle, and because we cured it, it's going to stay really lovely and succulent. So instead of just serving my bit of fish with a salad on the side, I like this dish to be eaten together a little bit, so I'm just really simply just going to take it. I'm just going to break it up. So just sort of torn apart all over the plate. The idea is so it's sort of all eaten together. You know, the fish is so succulent and soft, a spoon will just cut through it really easily. I'm just going to plate this salad amongst the fish. And that's one dish done. Happy days. So to bring together this rice dish, we've got some tomatoes that we're going to lightly salt. We've got some fennel, one of my favourite ingredients. First things first, I'm just going to lightly salt these tomatoes. So it's just simple as cutting them in half, and then we're just going to hit them with a little bit of salt, and that's going to bring out all the extra liquid, which will become our dressing for the dish. So probably 3 pinches of sea salt. The fennel bulb, I'm going to use the whole thing as it is there, so nice and fine on these stalks. So by doing this, we're achieving, like, it already looks like Christmas. We've got red, green, we're going to bring all these colours together, so it's going to be aesthetically really quite pleasing as well as flavoursome. Fennel into quarters. So this salt bush, we haven't mucked with it too much, just going to straight off the stalk. So just get it together in your fingers and just run your knife through it. Straight on there. We've got the fermented rice, which is ready to go, straight in. So these tomatoes, it doesn't really take long at all. So what we're going to do now is pick them up and just give them a squeeze and squeeze out any of these seeds and extra liquid. Throw them on the salad. So we've already got the base of a delicious dressing happening here with no other ingredients other than manipulating the ones we do have in different ways. So I've got a beautiful Victorian extra virgin olive oil here. And we want to work on basically probably 2 parts of the oil to 1 part of the tomato juice here. So not like a mayonnaise, don't have to worry about emulsifying it all, just by eye, you know. Give it a really easy mix together. Taste of tomatoes, it's kind of salty, it's viscous in the mouth from the olive oil. A lot of good things going on in there. So straight in. And again, just going to get our hands in here and just really massage all of these flavours together. And no fuss with the plating of this, just straight on. So this is a great one to perhaps make the night before, save it for your lunch the next day. Got a few rocket leaves here. Got a couple of borage flowers, end of the season, so these are the last few. Some basil flowers and seeds, really tasty, really big punch of flavour. So this salad, I haven't added any sort of oniony factor. Right now, all of these onion flowers are just cranking. Like, that looks really beautiful and often not utilised. So it's just really simply, we're just going to shave off these. And here's our oniony factor to the salad. Fermented brown rice salad with fennel, saltbush, and tomatoes. Okay, pudding time. This is just like the simplest, most easy pudding ever. First step is to cream the butter and sugar. So I've got the butter, it's at room temperature, it's really nice and soft. We're gonna add the sugar. So we start to bring this together. So now that they've incorporated together, we can really give it a nice whisk. So that's become nice and light. The sugar's started to dissolve in there. It's come together really well. It's really nice and fluffy. So we'll set that aside. And we have the lemons that we cooked in the steam oven. Cut them in half. Cut off the end piece. Making sure you keep all the flesh in there. It's really important for the acidity. And then just chop them up. And don't be too fussed about scraping all the seeds out. As we go back and chop through, it's another opportunity to sort of pick them out. Take away these seeds. Just sort of spread this out on the board, and that gives us a chance now to pick out any of the remaining seeds. Once we're at sort of about that stage, I'm going to put it into the mix. So we're just going to sort of gently fold these in. Flour. So this is freshly milled flour. I milled this morning from hard grain. Straight in. I didn't sift that flour because I know that there's no impurities in there. And if I do sift it, I kind of lose the husky bits and whatever else, which I really want, which will give a lovely texture at the end. Just sort of folding under and over, making sure we're incorporating everything in. Eggs. Although it might be quicker, take the time. Just go one at a time, no shell, onto the mix. Break up that yolk, and again, just fold it in together. And as it's sort of 3/4 folded in, we can add the next egg. So there's really nothing hard about making this pudding. It's super easy. And one of the good things is we can steam it, get it made, chill them down, and they'll hold in the fridge for a couple of days. So you can prepare them the day before a dinner party, you could prepare them the morning of a dinner party, and there's no problem. So I've got vanilla, the wattle seed, which has just been lightly toasted and ground to a powder, and some baking powder straight on top. Just fold that through and we're good to start cooking. And now into these little moulds. So I'm going to do 4 individual ones to serve, and I'll also bake off a larger one, which can be sliced and put into a lunchbox or whatever else in the coming days. These smaller ones, I'm not going to bother lining or buttering at all because I'm going to serve them in the cup. So we're just filling these sort of 3/4 of the way full because it's going to rise up a little bit, and if they're too full, it's just going to burst over. So just sort of use your fingers, flatten it out. Don't have to be like super duper flat, but just sort of even, and as it warms, it's going to melt out a bit, then rise. So get this larger one on the go. Are we going to put some water in the tray with the little ones here? Just about sort of halfway up the side of the cup. And we're not going to with the larger cake here. I've actually got it in a perforated tray, so the steam's going to hit it from the bottom as well. So I'm just going to cover these puddings. Because we're cooking with steam and we want that beautiful, gentle heat, there's also going to be moisture flying all around the oven, and what's going to happen is the steam's going to get on the top of the pudding and it's going to go soggy. So just really easily, just gently put that on there. Same with our bigger one over here. Leaving it quite loose, so when it does rise up, it's got a bit of room to move and it's not squashed. And in the steam oven, 100 degrees. We're probably looking at about half an hour. I'm thinking it's going to be about 45, but we'll have a look then. It's not hard to put the foil back on, give them a little bit longer, and you'd rather do that than overcook them. And one of the best things about this baby is its precision temperature control, from 40 to 100 degrees. It means I can accurately cook meats, vegetables, grains, pulses. I can reheat in it, and I can finish off jams and preserves. All right, so the puddings have been in for half an hour. I'm going to check them, see how they are. Smells great. Woo. Beautiful. So they've just risen up to the top there. There's a bit of spring in the pudding, but they're still nice and moist, so I think they're good to go. I'm just going to serve this pudding with some soured cream. Basically just a really good biodynamic cream that I've left out for a day or two. Simple as this. I'm just going to chuck a couple of lemon verbena leaves just on the top. It's more for the aromats, it's nice to excite the senses as much as we can, so it's going to taste great. But this lemon verbena, it's just going to hit it and just get this big waft of lovely lemony flavours. And once that lemon verbena hits, it just really comes to life, really fragrant. A bit of sour cream on the side, job done. And dessert.
Thank you.
Food should be enjoyed. Food should be a social thing, The idea of share food, which I love, is how I serve all my food now, is, I think we need to make more of a point of sitting down and sharing a meal together rather than just stuffing our faces and moving on, Make time. People always say we're so time poor, but time management's the hardest thing, and I think we need to make time to eat together.